Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or just happy weekend, one and all, and welcome to today's Go Mode podcast presentation of the Challenge Cup 2022 tournament. We are in semifinals, and we do have two very talented runners on display for us today. Farfalu and Vinter putting on their game one for us here on Go Mode podcast. I am Zeruvian. I'm joined today by Nira Lightshine. Hi, Nira. How we doing?
Hey, doing all right. How are you, Zeruvian?
Doing A-OK today, and we are seeing, that's a lot of whys. I think the why in this case is, why are we playing Ambrosia?
Well, it could be worse. It could be inverted key sanity boss shuffle.
Oh, well, I mean, maybe not in this year's iteration of the tournament, but that would be something that would be a little bit more to the liking of some players. However, in this year's Challenge Cup, Ambrosia, one of the 5 modes we could rolled. I have no idea what's in these two players' decks. I do happen to know a little bit about our runners today. Vinter came out of defeating my group mate, Rotsiv, in the round of 8 just before the GMP break. GMP. Here we are, SGDQ break, excuse me. And Farfalu's been making waves in the SMZ3 scene for quite some time, so we have a lot to look forward to from these two runners today.
Yeah, we do. I think I have called at least one of the races so far in this tournament.
So it being Ambrosia, that means we will get a boots hint to start, and you see both runners have a sword to begin with. It is open. Defeat Ganon 7-7 as the goal. Shoutouts today to the person putting this on, brought to you by Breadcoon as a restreamer. And Ridley is going to do the tracking, our very own tournament organizer, in the background for us today. And I see it's just on the overworld somewhere today.
Ooh, that could mean anywhere, really.
Yeah, that's not exactly what you'd like to see. Unfortunately, sometimes it's what you need to see.
So with it being on the overworld, that means, like, it could be in Kakariko or Zora's Check, right?
Could be on the Shovel, could be in Graveyard Ledge. The only place it can't be in the Light World is Death Mountain, because that's considered its own little biome. So that's going to be not where we see it. Early map check from Vinter. That's a green pendant in its vanilla location on Eastern, a pendant at Desert, and a crystal on Tower of Hera.
Yeah, I think it was vanilla location for both green and red pendant there.
You know, sometimes you just kind of... once it's not the green pendant, you don't really care as much, I guess. But nonetheless, it's a pendant in a Light World dungeon. It's just like, really? Okay.
Yeah, like, we can still have the hype for a pedestal this early, but there's like about 1 billion checks we have before that becomes a possibility.
All right, now we do see both runners taking into this standard opening escape. And you saw Farfalu trying to pick off a few of the guards right in front. We do see they're in the low-value prize pack, so I believe it's, what, 4th or 5th kill drops a single bomb?
Yeah, something along those lines, yeah.
And bomb is something you're going to want to find in this escape sequence. You're not guaranteed them by any other means other than possibly being placed by the randomizer in a chest. That's a bow this early. That's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah. Always good to have the bow early, especially since it's required to beat the game.
I would be interested to see if anyone decides to make that quick run over to Eastern Palace to just grab that green pendant, turn it in for a little extra value, even though it's not one of the required goal dungeons.
I would, like, if you're comfortable enough doing dark rooms, then why not go do Eastern? Get 7 checks right off the bat.
At this stage of the game, how could you not be comfortable doing Dark Room Eastern?
Yep.
Alrighty. We do see both runners have already pilfered the key to Hyrule Castle that's required to progress through the sewers. Now, in standard escape modes, you will get a free light cone courtesy of the randomizer. We are kind in that way.
Thank you, Rando.
Let's see a little bit of 2-pot from Vinter and some 4-arrow from Farfalu. Both good ways to dispatch that ball and chain guard and grab the princess, and up we go.
Yep, Farflu grabbing some extra health since he took some extra hits there.
So what's interesting to see is how things kind of might diverge coming right out of the back of Sanctuary. You might see some runners just go straight to Kakariko, but there has been a growing mode of just saying, Kakariko can wait, I'm going somewhere else. Especially with that bow in tow already, you might consider doing a, like I said earlier, a quick dive over to Eastern area.
Yeah. Why is Farflu walking backwards like that?
I'm not entirely sure.
Because wouldn't it be? Isn't it faster to walk if you're walking with the sword out? Do it forward. Guarantee I had a glitch happen a couple of days ago where my character got stuck with the sword out until I went up a flight of stairs.
Might have seen the opposite of this. Curiously, not interested in arrows, of course. We don't need arrows if we have a sword, but the bow is a nice weapon to take advantage of here. Now, with the knowledge these guards and the ropes in the escape sequence have the same prize pack, we might see them try to knock a few of those down for a bomb as well in this coming little area.
Yep. Rats could have a better prize pack too, though. Since they do share a different prize pack.
And there it is.
Ooh,
Alrighty.
Farflu still not finding that one bomb.
Oh wait, no, he's picked one up. Yeah, Farflu was killing more of the guards before Vinter did coming down, so stands to reason he would have gotten one first.
Yeah, I probably blinked when he grabbed his. Looks like the rats, though, are only going to be dropping rubies today.
Now, we did already see the map to Hyrule Castle, so we know every other check from here is going to be an item, and could actually play into what our runners decide to do as they leave this opening area of the game. We know one thing won't be here, and that's the boots. Well, you get some free bombs for your trouble, and a lot of moolah, and that's about it.
Yep. Farflu got more bomb. Oh yeah, they did get bombs from that first check. Dirt. Right now, though, they're pretty much in sync.
Yeah, just a couple paces off of each other. That's kind of what you expect coming through the escape sequence. There's not a lot of... I mean, it's not really execution heavy. It does really depend on what you have to work with, but an energy style escape, when you're looking for things because it's rando, really not too daunting, I would say. Just a piece of heart sitting in Sanctuary, so we are probably heading straight west and into the biggest mecca of checks that we have coming up for us here, with Kakariko Village.
Yep. Not even Death Mountain has, I think, that as many checks. Well, it does, but you have to have so many things to get the full thing done.
Yeah, there's just so much density in CAC, and that's why a lot of players, like almost everybody, will go straight to Kakariko Village, even though there's little pockets of density all around the rest of the world. Obviously, your South Shore has a bunch. You got 3 checks at Saha's Closet, and a very easily accessible Eastern Palace that, in more open modes, is often considered to be something to go... Ooh, what do we got sitting? That is powder sitting up there. So if we find a mushroom and a cane, we might be circumventing that entirely if it happens to have a required item behind it.
Yep. Aga might not be required. Not for that, anyway.
As I say, we won't be defeating Aga for his item today. All things considered, more than likely not. Just some arrows sitting in the forest, The only thing you could expect to find in a forest of trees is just a bunch of sticks on the ground.
Makes sense. And we got the first bottle. Red one at that. That's always nice to find this early. Blue bottle's preferable, but red bottle is always good at low hearts.
Just having a bottle at all is just so flexible playing through the game, just because you can easily put whatever color you want in it. When you have this much money, Magic Shop's not far away.
Oh, yeah.
All right, and down into Kakariko Village we go. Each of these top two has 5 checks for us. One in Blind Hut and then Kakariko Well. We're going to see Blind Hut first, probably, is the typical route.
Yep. Guarantee you we'll find bombs somewhere. We always find bombs in here when we don't need them.
And you never find them when you do.
Yeah.
It's going to be nice for the bomb pickup for Farfaloo, actually, seeing as they decide to use a bomb at the back of Escape to save a couple seconds instead of going back through the transition and up. There's a boomerang, too. That's going to give us access to a stun prize and a little bit of defense.
And there was the second bottle of green potion in it now, too. We're getting all the colors of the potions today.
One nice thing about finding a bottle, whether you skip the forest or not, you still end up having one, and that does mean you're not going to leave the Sick Kid check for later. You'll be able to grab that on your first pass through Kakariko here.
Oh yeah, we're getting this map check on Farfaloo's side now, which we already know is vanilla green pendant, red pendant, and regular or the 7 crystal. There's the hammer.
Okay, that's pretty nice to find this early.
Yep.
Hammer, usually one of those items you don't want to see just eluding you as you progress through a seed.
Yep, that gives us 1/3 of our Dark World access right there.
Just what remains to be seen is where the Glove and Moon Pearl will happen to shake out here as we take a peek at what's going on in the Chicken Hut today, and it's just another piece of heart. Just a couple extra checks going on here in Kakariko. Before we depart, we do have this Sick Kid check that we've been given easy access to, and it's more HP. We'll be at 5 hearts before you know it.
Oh yeah.
And coming off this way into the back of the tavern, this is always available. And we have another sword already. One of the things you're really not unhappy to see, but the next thing you don't want to see now is probably gonna be the lamp. And a peek at the race game is more HP and we don't need it, and Vinter says, nope, I'm just gonna save and quit here. We're going to see that South Shore play. Gonna keep that bow in our back pocket for now. Eastern is not actually in logic without a fire source to get to the back anyway, and possibly requiring a lamp to get to the big key chest if the key happens to be vanilla. So it might not be as enticing to go do the green pendant check just yet. And Farfaloo opting to play this race game blind, he's also going to save and quit instead of picking that piece of heart up. And now following in Vinter's footsteps, we're going to see South Shore once again. So it didn't see anything in the front of the dam. Let's see what is waterlogged this fine Saturday.
Yep. I had seen that Farfaloo had bought 10 bombs too in the bomb shop, and it was just 20 rubies that were now soaking wet.
Hey, wet money might be a little bit flappy, but it still spends the same.
Oh yeah.
That's probably a good move for Farfaloo to have those extra bombs. You're not worried about your resources going forward here if you pick those up. And,
Yep.
We've got a couple things that require an entrance. He was also down 1 bomb from Vinter going through Kakariko Village anyway, so probably better to have 10 than to have 1.
Oh yeah. Especially since you don't know if Heist or Mini Moldorm Cave will have it or not.
And, yep, there are bombs on the generous guy in the Mini Moldworm Cave, and not much else really here. Oh, we have bombs for a stun prize. Well, money not well spent. Unfortunately, that's not really something you can find out in a village that is full of peace.
Tell that the Ocarina of Time version of Kakariko. But yeah, finding out stun prizes is bombs. That's always nice to know, since there's so many things in this game you can stun.
Yeah, there's a lot of things you can stun, whether it's with the boomerang or with the hook shot, because it kind of depends from enemy to enemy here. Ice Rod Cave check for Vinter. Farfalu is going to make it in that same direction here. Let's see if this is going to have anything progressive for us.
It's going to be a piece of heart.
No, it's going to be the single arrow of destiny. You got to pick that up, right?
Yep. Sometimes you have no choice, though. So why is it called the single arrow of destiny?
It is the only check in the game that is one count of arrow. All the other drops are 5 or 10, and all the chest pickups are 10. It's the only one arrow in the entire game. It's vanilla locations actually, Pod. For whatever reason, they decided to put a single arrow in Palace of Darkness. Oh, this is an interesting divergence point here. Vinter is opting to do the fake flipper, so we're going to see the man under the bridge and possibly a trip up to Zora with a bow to splash delete. I like it. But he might also save and quit here. Farfalu's going to Eastern.
I think it's a wise play, either one. But with this logic, that means the boots could be right here too, right?
Yeah, the boots could be right here. The boots could be behind Saha for all we know. That is a glove.
We almost have Dark World.
That's an interesting spot for a glove being blocked by the flippers and logic. The question is, are we going to see the flippers soon or later?
Probably going to be soon. This seed has been nice so far. Just some love and what's left of Sarsparella's life savings.
You know, Farfalu not peeking at the island either on his way by, so he's just going straight to Eastern. Meanwhile, Vinter is going up to Zora. Unfortunately, can't do anything with the Waterfall Cave because we haven't yet located the Moon Pearl. Because for some reason, the game is checking for a Moon Pearl specifically when swimming into this cave.
Yep, I think he remembered that just as he got in there.
Now, we got 2 items that we can peek at Zora. The Zora check himself right now, as we know, is out of logic behind flippers. That's the Moon Pearl sitting on the... Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh, this is great for Vinter. And, you know, Farfalu, I have to imagine, is probably not far from finding flippers then.
Yeah.
You know, unless there's just a glove in here, and then it's flippers on Zora, and then it's just another glove, and then you've got mitts and hammer, and you can do anything in the Dark World except the mountain.
And it is a piece of heart on Zora.
Ah, it's a love lesson. Everyone's favorite. Farfalu is absolutely going to splash delete this Moon Pearl. No, not Farfalu, Vinter. I mean, if Farfalu was here, he'd probably do it too. I think he's going to find our logical way around.
So far, just a compass and a heart container, though. So, how do you do the splash deletion? It's 3 arrows and 2 bombs?
So to do the bow and bomb splash delete, it's a rhythmic sort of deal where you shoot 3 arrows, but as you draw the string back on the bow for the 3rd shot, you pause and switch over to bombs. When your 3rd arrow flies, you drop 2 bombs in a place where they won't drown, and immediately move to where you're trying to drop off. The waterfall having an extra drop down makes it a little bit tricky for timing, but once you know it, you know it.
Yep. I watched Koi's video on it. Didn't fully understand it.
So I have to imagine now, with what we know between our 2 runners, Farfalu is chasing what is currently available in logic, and Vinter is currently going with everything that he knows is out of logic. That means our progression has to be, and I do stress has to be, in Agina's cave at this point.
Yep.
And we did see the Dark World map. That is a crystal on Swamp Palace. And the pendant, I believe, is going to be on Turtle Rock today. So we don't want to see the Ice Rod.
No, we do not. Sadly, we do need that fire rod, though.
Yeah, that also means we need those flippers. And if it's flippers that is progression here, then the flippers in Agina's cave might be something that Vinter doesn't think about after digging around a little bit. Once you've broken sequence once, if you don't remember exactly what you did to break the logic, you end up kind of having to double back your thoughts a little here, just to have an idea of what's going on.
Oh, Farfaloo needed to be careful there. And Blue Tunic is on Stumpy. And it was just a heart container on Big Key Vanilla location. I think that's all 3 items.
I think so. Either way, we're going to see an Armos Knight's kill, which I think is interesting here, because as far as we know, this is not in logic yet.
And we're also going to get Dig Game here. Oh,
that is, yeah, that's something you want to see at this point. You're happy to have a third sword. That makes the rest of the game almost kind of trivial in terms of combat.
Oh, yeah. You never want to have to do most of the game with Fighter or Master. But props to you if you can do it comfortably. Looks like Vinter might be going to Eastern.
This might be Eastern. This also might be Saha's Closet into Palace of Darkness, as that's another dungeon that is also a crystal. And as you can see by the tracker, we marked it as a 5/6 crystal. Thank you for chat catching those when we missed it. It might be something worth diving into.
Farfaloo's going in with pretty low arrows.
I don't know if I'd call 6 off from your maximum quiver count pretty low.
Yeah, I still struggle with the quick kills, so that's just... Oh, I guess there was a third item back there.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, just 20 rupees. Let's see if this green pendant is worth its weight.
Could lead to the second glove. It's a lot of items it could lead to, since we actually don't have a lot of them right now available.
And if this is Flipper's on green pendant, then we know it's a lamp or a fire rod in Agina's cave.
Yep. And it is...
It is Vanilla Boots! Oh no! Okay. We have an Ambrosia seed, everybody.
Yep.
And just as a reminder, those of us in chat, if you're forgetting what mode we're playing, it's Ambrosia. The bosses are guaranteed to have an item, because apparently for about 5 minutes, I forgot that myself.
Yeah, I forgot about it too, because I'm like, wait, they always have to have... The boss always has the second Earth.
I thought I saw the map and the compass. I just wasn't paying close enough attention, I guess, seeing as Vinter's giving us all of the Dark World looks that we could possibly need to have.
Farfaloo going towards Agina's cave. Going to go check the desert ledge first, though.
Yeah, Farfaloo is going towards our known remaining logical check. And that means it's guaranteed to be required progression of some form. Whether that's a fire source and the lamp or the fire rod, or that's the flippers, which will give Farfaloo his Dark World access.
I'm going to guess probably going to be the lamp.
It is the flippers. All right, so Vinter probably... I would imagine Vinter probably has to know that that's there, or that it's in Eastern Palace and he's not as concerned with it at the moment. Because you can always combine diving into Eastern looking for flippers with going into Crystal Pot anyway.
Yep. This could mean, too, that the lamp could be in the Waterfall Cave.
Could very well be. Or it could just be that our light sources aren't available until Dark World.
Yep, very much so.
And we could see that any second from Vinter. Now, this is a little bit of an advantage for Farfaloo here. Having those boots, every minute that he has the boots that Vinter does not, is going to give him that much of an advantage in movement and time moving around, especially in a dungeon with a lot of straight lines like Thieves' Town. That dive is going to be much quicker.
Yep, and Farfaloo picking up his gloves.
And there's 2 checks that Farfaloo is going to be able to do that Vinter did not have the ability to do on his first time through, and that is the ability to go into the Waterfall Cave. Vinter could have attempted to do this with the Moon Pearl after splash deleting. I believe he still had 2 bombs left if you want to do a second splash delete. I've done that before. It's kind of surreal to get it on the second set of waterfalls for no reason other than you want to preserve your route.
Also, just 20 rubies on the floating or on the Hylia Island.
All right, so nothing of any value there. Anything of any value here? Just a little bit of fortification, not a lot of help. Farfelu has a lot of hearts. We're sitting on 9 hearts.
Yep, and he doesn't have the blue mail like Winter does. He might not even go to Stumby or Dig game for a while, so he'll be on Master Sword still for a bit.
Yes, but only for a bit, though.
Yeah.
Because that Dig game is not something you leave for very long after you've gotten Dark World access. Especially not if you start with Hype Cave. Hype Cave going west is one of the more particular routes you might see.
And Farfelu going to go pick up his Moon Pearl. So both of them have not done anything in Logic so far. Or actually, no, they have. Like this entire part was in Logic. What am I? Actually, no, this wasn't in Logic either.
The only thing that's not in Logic right now are the pair of boots that are sitting on Farfelu's feet. No, the fleeting is the wind behind your ears as you run around Hyrule. We're going to see a couple leather checks here. Just this one, I think, actually. Bonk Rocks will give us one item. Possibly something we need later. Or just bombs. You know, that's good too. I kind of like this little bit of wrinkle here from Farfelu. Just straight line running into Kakariko to go into the Dark World. Possibly check out Skull Woods Front for one item before we go into Thieves Town here. Not usually the best play, because, of course, the front of Skull Woods, with all of its checks, a map, a compass, and 3 keys await. And the big key. So, with one item, but if that one item is something you need, then sure.
Yeah, really, so they still have that boss key, or boss check. So...
There's another peek at our Dark World map. That is that pendant on TR, the red crystals on Pod and Mire. Now that Farfelu has that information, going to ignore Skullwoods for now, which is, I think that's objectively the right call in Ambrosia.
Yeah, don't want to really have to go into Skullwoods if you don't have to at this point.
Especially as a crystal. You'd rather have that fire rod to go in and just take it out in one shot. Of course, the worst situation is if you go in and it has your fire rod. And it's your last location. That's not a good combination.
Or even worse, it has your ice rod.
Well, the ice rod's not a lot of help without something to support it at this point. The fire rod would unlock so much for us if we happen to unearth Mitts here. If Blind has anything at all, Blind has a blocker.
Yep,
a couple of those would have been nice.
It has the Fisher-Price shield.
It does look like nothing of real value here in Thieves Town, so the play might just be to go over to Palace of Darkness.
Yep. Sorry. I was just doing the mental item check, and they're missing Hookshot to be able to do Swamp now, too.
Yeah, but you don't have the mirror to be able to drain the dam into the swamp, so we're not thinking about that just yet. Mirror would be nice, too, for going over the mountain, because that would give you an out-of-logic check of Paradox Cave. The mountain I like pushing a little bit if you have the ability to do so in or out of logic. A lot of the time, just the ability to go up there is enough to tell you what you might need, because if you find a flute on the mountain, you know it's lamp locked. If you find a lamp on the mountain, you know it's flute locked. And it kind of gives you an idea of what you might find down below and where you might need to go next. Oh, Vinter wants to peek around Skull Woods for that one item. Okay.
This might be a good play. We don't know.
If the game's merciful, it will give us that one item in very quick fashion here and have it be something rather useful.
That's not fast enough, game.
Well, it's faster than the alternative of it giving you a map or a compass there, because now you don't have to think about going to the middle to steal a key
Very true.
or dropping down. Oh my goodness, it's the mirror.
Yeah. Now, a lot is. I can't speak today. Apparently, that was actually a really wise move because we do need that mirror for Swamp.
And that's exactly what I was just talking about with Death Mountain. We might see Vinter go ahead and say no to the. That's exactly what he's doing. Say no to the lamp and go straight up the mountain to break Hera and check out everything in Paradox Cave. Oh, he wanted to look at Bumper. Okay. I was so excited for a moment.
Vinter, that wasn't very nice. He is going to go do Graveyard Ledge, though.
Yeah, once you get a mirror, the first thing you do is just hop over to Graveyard Ledge. There's never going to be a better time to do it than now unless you have boots, and Vinter's a fair way away from getting the boots.
Yeah, he cannot check both checks in Graveyard.
Now, for all we know... Oh, go on.
For all he knows, though, that's the Graveyard is where the boots are. So this wasn't a bad play on his part.
I mean, for all we know as spectators, the boots might not be required.
Yeah. 10 arrows.
I think the only fringe case here is if the powder is hard required for something, or the big key to Ganon's tower is sitting on the torch. There's no other situation where the boots would be anything we need to chase here.
Unless there's something in Desert they need.
I mean, that's kind of a fringy case here. Desert is going to have an item on the boss and an item in front. So if you don't need the pendant for anything, you can usually just steal the key.
I meant like there could be an item they need that's on the torch.
We just got a Kern jump from Vinter. Not having the flippers, we're going to go see what's going on with Catfish here. You wonder if he goes back and checks Waterfall with the mirror?
I would. He probably knows how to do the splash deletion into the Waterfall cave.
I mean, that one's an easier one than going over a waterfall, to be completely real with you here. Farfalu has dispatched Blind and has their first crystal. We're going to see probably the south route through Dark World from this perspective, which in a way is kind of unfortunate because it means we'll be missing out on the mirror for some time.
Yep, he's going to go grab his tempered.
What is it with the fish love today? Both fish giving us some hearts. Yeah, and chat pointing out, actually another player from the group I was involved during the group stages of this year's Challenge Cup. You got the situation where Mirror could bait you into Eastern Palace after visiting Palace of Darkness. Since Vinter knows that everything he just got to access the Dark World in the first place is flipper locked.
Yep. And Farfalu picking up his blue mail.
You get to have a gander over at the cave formerly known as Hype. With nothing of real value and interest within it.
Yeah, that was like negative 10 out of 10 hype in this cave today.
And this is another dig at the south of Link's House portal, so I imagine this is probably going to be pyramided into Pod from Vinter. Oh no, Vinter wants to... Oh, we're doing K45 first. Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a good play.
No, that's reasonable. And that's another one of those checks that you might be putting off for quite some time unless you happen to unearth myths somewhere.
Just 10 arrows.
Speaking of the Pod play, Farfalu is finishing their South Dark World loop, and Pod is decided to be the destination at this point.
Yep, and I think that's where Vinter's going now.
almost has to be, doesn't it? And if you get the Fire Rod, if you're Farfaloo, you're looking for any kind of leverage or progression here. You end up with a situation where you can just go to Skull Woods and take out Moth, look for that second item, and you're golden.
Yep, and since they have the bow, they are not going to be bow locked in here.
Now, I do have to wonder, with the game kind of stringing us along, this is one of the last logical checks that we have, is this Palace of Darkness here. So do you think the game might just give us the lamp now? That's the Ice Rod and Shooter Room. Okay! That's thanks, game. I've got a killer for a pendant boss and a pendant boss. Not as if my sword wasn't enough for one of them.
Yeah. That's never fun to find the Ice Rod this early.
Ice Rod has its utility. It's not by any means like blow the seed wide open type of item like you might get with a Fire Rod or the mitts, or even the hook shot could do something here. But it's a very nice utility item to have. There are some things that take damage to an Ice Rod that don't take much damage from a lot of other things. The Ice Rod in combination with the hammer can kill most mobs that can be frozen. So by no means is this a bad play. Chad is asking, did the play know about settings? They know. They know it's Ambrosia. They know it's a 7/7 with a boots hint. Farfaloo has found the boots. Vinter has not. And that all bosses will have an item and not a dungeon item. There's the big key, so we know everything else in the front here has to be a key.
Those trolley hard hats. Well done with the bomb throw. Oof.
Oh, what happened here? Did we pause the bomb throw buffer and... oh dear. Well, Farfaloo having a bit of a time with this room. Now, this is our last logical check back here. Well, yeah, the last pair of logical checks back here to Palace of Darkness.
Looks like Farfaloo's doing the bomb jump.
Yep, and you kind of, when you have a key and you're expecting to get the rest of the keys you need to finish this dungeon anyway, you kind of just take that and go with it. Makes your routing a lot nicer when you don't have the mirror. In the case of Farfaloo not having gone to Skull Woods yet.
Oh, Vinter is going into Eastern.
Yeah, Vinter decided that Eastern is possibly where his logic lies. It's not in this case, but if he follows it through, he'll have a nice set of footwear.
Yep.
Farfaloo a little bit lost in the dark maze for a second there. That little left side section coming from the reverse does kind of trip you up once in a while.
Yeah, I get lost in here all the time. There we go. Looks like he found his way.
Still moving around. Now towards the bottom of the screen, so probably not where he wants to be right now. Yeah, and Farfaloo's going to say, no, I'll come back. And that could actually come back and bite us big time here.
He might just be saving and quitting just to come back from the other side.
I mean, either a save and quit or a death warp is probably the original plan of action here, since you know you have two other keys in the front of the dungeon. You want to save a key if you can, but you're not able to necessarily do so. in this situation. Not having the mirror and not being able to line up a death warp, that might have been the only way out for Farfalu at that point in time, and he is going straight back. Actually, we're gonna... Yep, he's going straight back in.
Have they checked Pyramid Ledge?
I don't think either runner has to this point. So there could be something that we need waiting on the pyramid, and we just won't know until somebody goes in that direction.
Yeah, for all we know, that's exactly where the lamp or fire rod are.
And a little bit unfortunate for Farfalu. I don't think he got the top check of Dark Maze either. So that might be a strategic skip, something to just kind of put on the back burner for a while, or something that he goes right back in for.
He's definitely going to have to go grab more keys, though, now.
Yeah, this is going to be, you grab this small key here in Stalfo's basement, and then I think you have to loop around the front, or just go to Helma.
There's still items in right side, though, isn't there?
No, we were locked by the bow when we had the ice rod and shooter, so both runners would have to do right side before they can progress.
No, I mean right side in the back.
Oh, you mean the Turtle Room and Rupee basement?
Yes.
Yeah, possibly.
I'm still not familiar with all the intricate names that rooms have in this game.
All right, Victor's making his way to Armos Knights, so we are going to see the green pendant turned in at some form or... Nice little D-boost through the rail there. If you've never done that, it's just like, what happened?
I've done it completely like by accident. It's awesome to see when it happens, though.
I would be curious to know what our light logic is right now, because as of this moment, we are out of logic again.
It's going to be in Pyramid. That's the only place it could be right now.
Well, that's not entirely true. You still have that first check of Swamp Palace that could be something. In fact, with the hammer, we have the entire front of Hookless Swamp could be something.
Does that put that be? I can't speak. Oh wait, nope, never mind. No, it doesn't. Not unless there's a key right here.
Well, key can't be in Dark Maze, so.
Oh, it can?
No, it cannot.
Okay, my bad.
On this version of the randomizer, there are no keys in Dark Maze. But that may be changing in the next year or two with the release of V32, yet to be determined. Even though there's a small key in the vanilla game, nah.
Great. You guys, I finally learned version 31 and you guys are changing it.
I mean, the randomizer's been going for years. Why do you think we're on version 31? Actually, we're on the 10th or 11th patch of version 31 to that point. So...
shout out to those who made the randomizer, though.
Yeah, while we're watching these two runners here on stream, there's also the Mentor Tournament that's ongoing here at Go Mode Podcast. So keep your eyes open for some of our newer runners strutting their stuff and learning from some of the community's best as well.
Yep, and I am one of those. I'm one of the mentees, I should say.
All right, Farfalu's going to go ahead and take out Dark Helma, which sounds like a Star Wars villain, but he's not.
Well, for all we know, with the new canon, he could be a new character. Sounds like a bounty hunter name.
I am kind of bothered by not having a means to figure out what our logic is at this point. I would actually have to think that we probably have a flute on the pyramid, is my thoughts.
Yeah, it's got to be the pyramid at this point.
Our restreamer is saying logical or literal progression is either on the ledge or the catfish at this point. Unfortunately, it's not catfish. Both fish had a love lesson for us today.
Yep. Is that desert or graveyard ledge that they're talking about? Because it's not there either.
The pyramid ledge.
Oh, okay.
I mean, we're seeing calls for flute or lamp. It could also be something on Helma here, if it's like a fire rod or something. Farfaloo is currently going through one of the... Well, actually, I think he's already through the Dark Turtle Room based on that block push. We're on our way to Helmasaur King. That is one of the single hardest dark rooms in the game. And Vinter not far behind him here.
We don't have Death Mountain access yet. Not in Logic, anyway.
Yeah, the Logic will expect us to have a lamp or a flute to go up Death Mountain at this point. Which, you know, the flute could be right here for all we know. Or the flute could be on the pyramid. Or the flute could be in Swamp. You don't know. Not until you, Oh, there's the hook shots! Oh, Swamp Palace is full clearable after you get a lamp. Oh my.
Wait, why do you need the lamp for a... oh, wait, because it's out of Logic. Never mind.
Right, because Helma is blocked by the lamp.
Yeah. Which I'm still saying it's going to probably be... Did we miscount items?
Farfaloo... Where are you going, my friend?
Farfaloo, you need a key to get...
I mean, this is a key for a key. You need a key to get a key. That's why you were able to go to Helma without using your keys in the worst way.
Yeah, I think Farfaloo forgot about this.
Yeah, key logic is key logic. That's going to be a save and quit, hopefully. It is. Vinter now making his way to the bottom of Palace of Darkness. Farfaloo accidentally starting at the house. Raise your hand if you've never done that. I shouldn't see any hands risen.
Right here.
If you've never done that?
Oh, wait, no, never mind.
Like I said, I shouldn't see any hands risen.
Like I was just about to say, I did it yesterday where I did it at least twice.
Oh, now that's interesting for Farfaloo, because now he's going to be able to completely skip the mirror in Logic here. And go up the mountain. And be able to check everything that Vinter would be able to check, except for the top of Spectacle Rock.
Which then you gotta hope that there's nothing in Spectacle Rock when he goes up there.
Oh, we're seeing bomb strats. I love Bomb Helma.
Ditto here.
When you're a kid, you're playing this game and you go, wait, you're supposed to use the hammer to kill Helmasaur? I thought you need to use bombs and it's so hard and I just keep dying. And it's like, because you're versed in the Dark World. Everything does 2 hearts of damage. And the bosses were just kind of pushovers in the Light World and all the pendant dungeons.
It wasn't until I was older, I didn't know that you could use bomb strats on him. We're going to go ahead and get right side Death Mountain looked at first. I don't know if I agree with this call.
I think this is fine, and particularly because you're probably going to have the ability to check everything else at some way, shape, or point anyway.
That's true. Plus, Hera's a crystal, so...
Right, so you want to go up to the crystal. The only benefit you have of just going straight up the mountain is you get to look at what's in Spectacle Rock, which is by no means anything
There's
could
the Bug Sword.
break it.
And Vinter's getting his boots now.
And not having the mirror, this is the only way Farfaloo has to go to Tower of Hera.
Yep. There's the...
Hey, chat! Did I mention that we have a flute somewhere in the lower world?
That means Flute is most likely on the ledge.
Well, no, now with... it could still very well be the flute is in Swamp Palace, because the mirror is in Logic.
That's very true. It would have to be very early. It would have to be in like one of the first checks you do, though.
It could also very well be that the flute's just in King's Tomb.
That's very true. Because Mirror was that junk on the floating island?
I think it was 3 blueberries. All right, so Farfaloo is going to go ahead and peek at... Oh, good, a mushroom! Great! We want that! Oh, that could actually be something that we need as well that Farfaloo currently cannot pick up. Okay, well, that tells you everything you need to know about Hera.
Yep. And we're probably going to see a Hera pot here.
Yeah, you literally don't need to check anything else. You can just set up this bomb Harapod and go directly to Moldorm and call it good.
That was an interesting way to set that up.
This is one of a few methods that you can use. This is a method that Dracaris put out there, where you set up with a bonk off the pegs if you have it, or a specific pixel on the tile grouting, and just, it's actually susceptible to subpixels here, but it works. It's what we used for a long time if you didn't have other methods.
Yep, and just a piece of heart and... Oh, no!
Oh,
Oh!
that's 2 points for Moldorm. One for every floor that you drop through.
Yep. Vinter is not going to go do right side. Not right now, anyway.
Vinter has no reason to go directly to the right side. Well, no, wait a minute. Okay, I am slightly confused.
I don't really blame him knowing what we know about the right side, though.
Hey, it's fine. I just wonder why you wouldn't take out... Oh, he has no... he can absolutely guarantee Hera and then do everything on Spiral and then back up and around if you happen to find Mitz, for example. Nothing out of Tower of Hera but this crystal, however.
Yeah, well, Farflu now has 4 dungeons done. Vinter is not that far behind.
You have to imagine Vinter's first thought is probably go directly over to Hera after cleaning up this Paradox Cave. I'm still a little curious as to why you don't just go down Spiral here.
What is Farflu doing? Oh, Spiral Cave. Never mind.
Yeah, this is the only reasonable way Farfelu had to do the mountain, is you have to pick your, pick your poison between Spiral Cave and the inside of Spectacle Rock, and the knowledge of the mushroom on Spectacle Rock was plenty of reason for him to say, alright, well, Spiral Cave is a little bit deeper, so might as well. Even though they're relatively the same, they're not the same sphere, though. Yeah, they are.
I think we're getting
whatever.
Play. Oh, wait, nope. We can't... Farflu can't go in the swamp. What am I talking about?
A Farflu is going to the pyramid.
Yep. That's where he'll get his flute.
That's not a guarantee. Flute could still be in King's Tomb or Swamp Palace.
Very true. Where was Mirror? Oh, wait.
Mirror's in the front of Skull Woods. So what's bad here for Farfelu is if this is anything that doesn't put him in progression, because that means he last locates Skull Woods, and thus the mirror. Which, actually, that could be a blessing in disguise, unless that mushroom has anything that we need.
You know what else could be here? Book.
Oh, I was hoping no one was going to say that. And especially having just been on the mountain, the last thing you want to see is, oh my god, is that the King of Samaria?
Yes.
That doesn't help us at all.
Well, it gives us Icebreaker.
Yeah, for an ice palace we can't legally get into yet. It is a required item for Go, since you have a Mire Crystal, but it's like, you're looking for immediate progression. Kane is nice, and that actually might be a bad spot for Vinter. But, you know... you don't want the cane when you're looking for your logic up the mountain and your way to progress forward in the sea. That's just not how this goes. So our progression has to be in Swamp Palace at this point.
Yep. They can be anywhere in Swamp right now.
You know what I would like to see from Vinter? Spike Cave.
That's just mean.
Well, how does that mean? You started the game with a red potion.
Very true.
And it's a check that you really don't want to have to come back up the mountain for. That's also a little bit of spectator's bias. Since we know Spiral Cave isn't anything, you'd like to see the new check if possible. Alright, Farfelu has literally one other thing that he can possibly do, and that's go get his mirror out of the Skull Woods front. Farfelu? Where you going, buddy? You're in the light world.
Yeah. Raise your hand if you've done that.
Raise your hand if you forgot you weren't playing Entrance and walked into the Kakariko fortune teller on your way by.
I've never played Entrance, so so I can actually raise my hand and say I've not done it.
That's fair, because Entrance is a completely different beast of this game. But honestly, there's so many habits you just kind of get into. Oh, when Vinter knows he has to pick up his flippers, this is the last location for him.
Yep.
So this'll put it all together here.
Yeah,
The flippers being kind of the thing that you kind of need to get by here. It's what gives you your access to the Dark World in the first place. It's what gives you the ability to go kill Helma. And in this situation, it's going to be what gives you...
Farfelu is doing an interesting choice here. He's getting the mirror by dropping down early.
I'm not entirely certain that was intentional, seeing as he was kind of mid-dash when he got sucked into the pit, but it also could just be a little bit of habit. And the mirror is going to be exactly what we want to see, except it's not.
Well, this gives us a swamp now on both sides.
And I believe we're going to see some convergence on Swamp Palace, because that has to be where everything that we need to get back into logic is.
Yep. They're right now head-to-head. Farfelu only behind right now because he went and did the pyramid check.
Which, that's the one check he has up on Vinter, is that Cane of Samaria location. And again, that might be something Vinter comes to a little bit later than not, because he did the Kern jump over to Catfish, then opted to mirror into Waterfall. So
Yep.
Pyramid is hyper-isolated right now. With both runners having already cleared Pod and most of the rest of the game. While that Kane's a go mode item, it doesn't actually influence our routing all too much at this point.
Nope, we still gotta find a medallion too.
Yeah, we don't know which metal is going to be required to go into Mire. And if we find Bombos and Mitts, then we know it's probably something we need to do in Ice Palace as well, which is another one of our crystals. And there's the flute in the front of Swamp!
Like you were saying.
So the game wants you to go get your mirror, to go to Swamp to get your flute, to go to Pod to get your hook shot to beat Swamp. Thanks, I hate it.
Who rolled this seed? Was it me? That's something that would happen in a seed I'd roll. I didn't know that about the hammer being able to crush the skulls like that.
Yeah, vanilla game behavior, you can crush pots with the hammer. In fact, that's one of the faster ways to dash through some lines like we just saw Farfelu do, to run on through and smash things. It's why there are certain things you can do hammer dashing that you wouldn't be able to do in other situations.
Oh wait, what am I talking about? Like I do the hammer smash thing in a bumper room in GT all the time. Yeah. We probably wouldn't have that many dungeons done if we were still in logic.
Well, I mean, to this point, Farfelu stayed largely in logic and is step for step with Vinter, with literally, in this dungeon, one check behind.
Yep.
Now, this is a very neck-and-neck race right now. Farfelu does have that Cane of Samaria from a bad spot on the Pyramid Ledge, and then Vinter, of course, has a couple checks done that Farfelu has not, with Graveyard Ledge and K45, but no one has checked King's Tomb to this point.
I don't know if that bomb was close enough. Going with the diver down here.
Guess we'll find out in a moment. And then Vinter doesn't exactly have a lot of bombs, so not a lot of wiggle room to screw this one up. Gets it first try. Let's see if this had activated the switch. It does.
Okay. It looked like it was too far south to me.
Yeah, the bomb splash radius is actually a little bit more generous than you might expect by its animation.
And both of them getting their diver down first try.
Farfelu having the added benefit of that Cane of Samaria to make that smooth as butter for him. Of course, both runners have that smooth butter as a weapon here. So that's going to make quite the easy tilt with Argus. And not having to double dip Swamp, a really good feeling, I think, on this one. There's a Quake medallion, our first coin.
And 50 rupees.
Very potentially required. Very interesting, both runners seeing the compass down below the big chest and opting to go to left side just to kind of run through this dungeon. Not much else in logic after this, so it really does kind of make sense here.
But this and Skullwoods are the only two dungeons that the big key can be locked in its own chest, right?
That is correct. The big key not required to get to the boss in these two aforementioned dungeons, so you can very well have a situation where you get everything but the big key in Swamp and still get all 6 items in here.
And 2 in Skullwoods.
And I would happen to guess, I think the key has to be in this room, however. Unless it's just in the waterfall, because there's always something in Waterfall Room.
Ooh, I don't know if he'll get this.
Yeah, he's got it. He took some extra care to make sure that bomb went exactly where he wanted it to go.
There's the map.
Yeah, so we have a big key and 1 item guaranteed on the boss. So the big key is in the big chest. We'll know after checking this chest.
Yep. You gotta hope that the big key is not here.
Not necessarily. Why is that always there? Alright, that's the fire rod. So,
that we almost have go mode right now. We're missing the mitts.
it's pending a medallion yet, too.
I'm going off the assumption that we only need Quake.
You know, a 33% chance to get into your last dungeon is not a good assumption to make. Now, that means that the last item in this dungeon is on Argus. We had Farfalu cross in front of Vinter somehow after Vinter beat us into the dungeon. So we're going to be seeing both runners just kind of go neck and neck here.
I think what happened was that Vinter had Farfalu had an easier setup because of the cane. And that was a quick kill.
Sure was. And then we got Vinter. There's the mitts. So we are in go -1 territory here at the hour mark. And yes, this is only an hour in, but already we're talking about almost being done. If you haven't already followed these two runners, I do highly suggest you give them a gander.
I would, at this point, probably go to Meyer. Or not, yeah.
No,
Meyer.
this is directly into Ice Palace.
Oh yeah, good point. Do the icebreaker technique here.
Again, this is the first game of our Challenge Cup 2022 semi-final match between Farfalu and Vinter. We are playing Ambrosia. The situation is we might need a medallion for go mode. We might not. Right now, Farfalu is pretty much playing for keeps here. He's got the Cane of Samaria that was on the pyramid. And Vinter is going to be looking for that cane. He's going to go activate this flute right now, which actually makes a bit of sense if you want to go peek at the Meyer area, possibly desert, because he's still looking for at least 1 go mode item, possibly 2. Well, we're just kind of going through the motions here. I'll just shout out the crew that we have on this game today. Restreaming for us, we have Breadcoon hanging out in chat. We also have Ridley Dragon as our tracker, and Nira has been joining us on commentary today.
Yo, everyone.
Oh, I like this. Actually, we're going to go all in on Moth. And then flute away from that.
Does not hurt to go do Moth right now.
It's a crystal, you have to do it, so you might as well get it out of the way if you can. Meanwhile, Farfalu making his way through Ice Palace here.
Yep, setting up the icebreaker right now. Perfectly done.
The only thing I think that would be any value to us here in Ice or Skull or pretty much any other dungeon that isn't Meyer would be the medallion that gets us into Meyer. Or, you know, the silvers that make Vitreous literally free.
Half magic would be nice too. I think that was the second item. So Cold Stare has got to have the last one.
From the corner of my eye, I wasn't sure if I was watching 2 Gibdos run around in that room in Skullwoods or 1. And then I just saw something that looked kind of sus. I'm like, oh, that's Vinter. Okay. Yeah, I'm also kind of surprised. Chat pointing out no one's rushed into the Mire area to look at whatever medallion is sitting on Misery Mire as an entry requirement. That could very well be the Go Mode information that Farfaloo needs to just run through everything else on the seed. Vinter is cleaning up Skull Woods, which is actually a reasonable play here, and could easily flute over to Ice Palace to do what Farfaloo has already done.
Was that just nothing on Mothula?
Yeah, just another piece of Hard-On Moth.
Cold Stare is going to go down immediately because of the Butter Sword.
And nothing really of any value here either. Ooh, little order of operations nonsense here for Vinter. We're going to see the Mire area. Now, this actually, I can see this. I understand it. One, you're looking for a cane, and this is actually not a low-density area. There's a Bombos requirement for Mire, so we are not in Go Mode yet.
Nope.
Is the key under the mat? It is not. At least not here. There's a spot behind the mailbox over eastward that we can have a peek at, too. We're gonna see what's going on with Pendant Desert Palace here as well.
Looks like he never saw what was on the ledge.
Yeah, Bombos could be Vinter's out. Vinter still needs to go get the Cane of Samaria off the pyramid as well. But we're going to see the same Ice Palace play that Farfaloo had just done. And Farfaloo now activating the flute.
Vinter will not have the Cane of Samaria, so he cannot skip 90% of the dungeon.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's 90%, but it does make the run through Ice Palace a lot smoother. However, Ice Palace Bomb Jump, that tried and true tech, never forget how to play that, because if you don't have a cane and it's in Ice Palace, you're going to want to know how to make this a nicer dive.
Yeah.
Farfaloo now gets his information that it is Bombos for Misery Mire, and he's not yet in Go Mode.
Yeah, Vinter never went and checked the checkerboard cade.
I saw that too. It didn't have a gander at Desert either, for one item in front and one item in back. It's quite possible the answer could just be right under our noses here.
Yep, looks like Farfaloo is going to go to the checkerboard, though.
Reasonable call. Just don't mirror on top of the rock, please. Okay, very close, but not quite.
Raise your hand if you've done that.
We got bombs in checkerboard cave, checker bomb cave, if you will.
Yep.
Are we going to flute away and go to the mountain? That's my thoughts here.
Oh yeah, because they can now go to Dark. Nope.
Nope. This is probably the moth play, and I would imagine you might see Smith Chain coming out of here with the flute and the mirror. The Smith Chain is free.
Nope, going to do Moth first, since it's basically a free kill at this point.
And if you don't know how to do the Ice Palace Bomb Jump and you're sitting here in chat, give a good eye onto Vinter's stream for just a moment, because he's going to show us how it's done.
Yep, I am going to watch it, because I can only pull it off like 10% of the time.
Wow, that is super smooth, dude. That's the sign of someone who knows exactly what they're doing.
Thank you, Vinter.
Maybe not so much to glean from how quickly that went, but if you slow it down about 25% speed, you'll see exactly what he did. Just the ledge spin and the perfect pixel alignment with the right tap on your controller. It's just chef's kiss. Yeah, I'm calling for Mountain, because right now Mountain's probably the most likely scenario where you could find your Bombos medallion. You've got Super Bunny Cave for 2, you've got Hookshot Cave for 4, the island is dead, but if Turtle Rock is saying Quake, it could very well be as simple as the front of Turtle Rock, as convoluted as the pedestal now in logic if Turtle Rock can be opened.
I have literally seen in the Go Mode medallion be on pedestal.
Yeah, it's very possible. It's not likely, but it's possible. And if it's there, then it's like, oops. I guess he had to do almost everything today, huh? Now, both runners can just ignore the powder that's on Aghanim's ledge here if you get the Cane of Samaria and decide to make that check in conjunction with the Smith Chain, for example.
What is Farfaloo doing?
Just taking a pause. Sometimes you just need to stretch or get a drink of water while the boss is exploding.
Okay. He had his mirror, his action button. That's why I was worried there.
Well, that's because you were planning on mirroring right here, right now. And grab the flute, and where are we going? Is it 1? Is it 2? It's 1.
Yep, we're gonna go see what Dark Death Mountain has.
We might collect this mushroom on the way, but we might also say, to heck with it.
Yep, Dark Death Mountain.
And I said that absolutely reasonable call here. It is probably the closest clump of items we have left in the game right now as Vinter makes his way down into Cold Stare's room.
Yep, the only place that has a closer cluster of items is GT, and we do not we cannot go into GT yet.
Yeah, well, GT can't have progression. GT is the end game.
Oh yeah, I know.
So we're playing for Super Bunny or Hookshot Cave being the answer. I like this call, actually. You don't have to go through the Turtle Rock entrance animation if you don't have to go into Turtle Rock if it just happens to be sitting outside. If it's double Bombos, you know Bombos cannot block anything that you need in Turtle Rock because you need it for Mire anyway.
Now, would you go to Turtle Rock first, or would you go to Hookshot? I would do Hookshot here.
I mean, coming from here, you would do Hookshot Cave here first.
Okay.
If you opened the portal and it says Quake, I think you still open up Turtle Rock and then do Hookshot Cave first.
10 arrows.
Red Mail. I love that Gravity Suit palette for the Zero Suit Samus sprite. It's just... Purple and green make a great combination.
Turtle Rock has something inside of it.
We haven't seen any of Desert yet, so that's a little premature, I think.
True.
It's Ether for TR, so now if we find Ether, we might have something in Turtle Rock. We are going to see Spike Cave from Farfaloo.
Oh, that is so painful.
It's like walking on spikes. Farfaloo also going to pick up this mushroom, which actually, this is a boon for him, because he has the cane. He can absolutely fake powder. And since we haven't looked in here yet, we'll just do that. We might see a save quit here, actually. No, I think this has got to be Spike Cave. You have all 4 of your bottles. Yeah, one of them has a red potion in it, so...
Yeah, usually they have an invincibility item, but not today.
Yeah, the logic will usually ask you to have an invincibility item, or at least a bottle to restore your health. So, I mean, I believe it actually writes it as requiring either Cape Half Magic or Cane of Burna to get through here. But that, doesn't stop most people. If you have a bunch of hearts and a way to get the hearts back up. Well, hello, Mirror Shield.
Geez, we have all the items needed for Ganon now in the vanilla game.
And the Mirror Shield not necessarily required for Ganon. Very nice item to have for parts of Turtle Rock and other things that you can do within the game. It does block everything except BMO shots now. The only argument I have about it is it blocks some of the beautiful sprites that our community has rendered.
Yeah. We are going to probably get Lumberjack, or not Lumberjack, Blacksmith Chain now, though.
I'd be willing to gather this is going to be the Smiths and the fake powder. And yes, this is a fake powder setup. You see Farfaloo spitting out some of the lamp here to use up some of that magic on his way down. Vinter into Spike Cave, gonna pick up a Mirror Shield.
What would suck here is if the Hammer Pegs has the item.
Why would that suck exactly? Hammer Pegs is available.
Well, I mean, because you just used up all your magic.
Okay, we have a green potion.
I know. I'm talking about having to waste a green potion though.
I mean, you also have $1,000 in 4 bottles. You can go buy blue potions. It's really not that big of a deal. We have a flute. You can go to the magic shop anytime you want.
True.
Yeah, the worst feeling right now, I'm going to agree with Ridley Dragon in chat here. It's going to be finding Ether.
Very true there. I agree with that.
As if it's Ether to go into Turtle Rock, and then Turtle Rock comes up empty. You're going into Desert. Who wants to go into Desert? Oh, Vinter just save scummed the Mushroom. The Mushroom turn-in is 20 rupees. So the Mushroom on its own is not anything of any value for our runners here. And here's that fake powder play coming from Farfaloo. Let's see if the powder that's sitting on Lumberjack is actually the logical answer. No, that's just $5. This mushroom isn't worth its weight. Remember about 30 minutes ago when I said neither runner has been to King's Tomb yet?
Yeah, I forgot they haven't been there yet.
Well, Vinter just picked up Ether from King's Tomb. No. Game, stop it. Game, stop. No. Bad.
I can't be the only one laughing at that.
So Vinter's going to follow Farfaloo and do Smith Chain here. Because Vinter does not have the Cane of Samaria yet.
Yep, Kane was in, I don't remember where. Oh, Kane was on Pyramid Ledge.
Yeah, Kane is sitting on the pyramid. And Farfaloo is going to check this, and this is all that he really needs to do here. Grab the chest and flute off to 7, turn that in, and we're down to Turtle Rock and Desert.
I would go to Desert right now, if this doesn't have Bombos.
That's the only nitpick, if I had one, about how both of these players have routed, is I would have done Desert already. If you're going to be in the Mire area, what better time to peek at Desert than that?
Yep, time for Desert now.
This is going to be a turn in the mushroom play for Farfaloo, which is absolutely reasonable. You just use it to fake powder, you might as well get it through. And again, you're coming up here anyway, so why not just spend the need of a potion?
Yeah, might as well get your buying new ones too while you're there.
Both options suck. You know, you're not wrong, Brett. You're not wrong.
Nah, both options rule for those who are doing it.
No, both options suck. TR is a better dungeon play, but Farfaloo hasn't found Ether, and probably won't be finding Ether for a little bit of time here. Unless this is Graveyard... We already seen Graveyard Ledge, haven't we? No? Yeah. Where are we going?
Bumper Ledge? Maybe. I don't think Farfaloo checked Bumper.
You can't get Bumper. You need the cape. So even the knowledge of what's on Bumper isn't helpful here.
Maybe he's going to... I don't know.
Alright, purple chest turn in for Vinter. Gonna get his bundle of 10 bombs and see what happens here. Maybe Farfaloo hasn't checked the Graveyard Ledge yet, and this is just a run through. That appears to be the case. Yeah, that's going to be the 10-euro check for Farfaloo, but also, oh boy, you're going to get that Ether Medallion, and then you're stuck with a choice. Vinter not having the Cane of Samaria. This is actually Vinter's one out. If it's in Desert...
Yep, he's going to Desert. Still hasn't checked Checkerboard Cave.
Yeah, Checkerboard is... I would say that's the thing that you do on your way out. But you know you can't get into Turtle Rock, so you're not going to be fluting off from oh boy. That's a compass on the torch, so this dungeon is not locked by boots by any means.
Which is always nice.
So this has to be a key in this check. It is the small key.
It could be a big key still in there, right?
Yeah, the big key is going to be on the right side here.
No, I know. I meant like, in that... Never mind. Looks like Farfaloo is going to take a chance on Turtle Rock.
Well, we have an item in its vanilla location because that would be the big key in its vanilla location, and the big chest will have something. And then an item on the Lamellus as well. So it all comes down to this, really. If this is Bombo sitting in the desert big chest, Vinter hits go -1 and is looking for Samaria in a location that is probably going to be his last. If this is Bombos and TR, Vinter is behind purely by not having the cane. It's nothing in the desert big chest unless Lamo has something. This could be the game right here.
Yep. I love when games come down to one final check like this.
When you've got that epic 50-50 for your endgame progression, we call this making an objectively correct call for what on a coin flip. Being on the losing end of that coin flip, that's called getting rando. And some of us have seen that a lot throughout, tournament history, or just in your day-to-day races, whether you run on the ladder or you do speed gaming dailies and end up way behind the rest of the pack. One decision can really change the outcome of a run, whether it's as innocuous as skipping Ice Rod Cave or choosing between Swamp and TR for your go mode. It all depends on what the randomizer feels like on that given day, and also how you feel on that given day. It's part of what makes the game so fun to play, because you never know what's going to happen until you do it.
Something where we are not thinking about, Bombos could still be on the pedestal.
Oh no, believe me, we're thinking about it, we just don't want to acknowledge it. Do the Lamellus have anything that we need? No, they are a treasure trove, and that's all there is to it. Here's something else that we're not thinking about, and haven't even mentioned. Our progression could still be Book or Shovel.
Yep. Book or Shovel could be in Turtle Rock. If it's not in Turtle Rock, there's something on Pedestal, I think, at that point.
Well, having just seen everything in Desert and every other check that we can currently access in the game, if it's not in our inventory by the time we get to Trinex, something is on the pedestal. Has to be.
Yeah. I'm doubting it's going to be the case, but everybody wants a Ped Seed when they don't have to run it.
Yeah, when they don't have to run it. That's the key word there. Who actually wants a Ped Seed? Unless you're playing Mystery or something.
Definitely not me, especially as last time I got a Ped Seed, it was Fire Rod was on pedestal.
And nothing quite like 3-pendant Light World Moon Pearl on pedestal. Is this even randomized? Well, yes, because Moon Pearl's not supposed to be on pedestal.
I've had that on my first ever Ped Seed. I had Moon Pearl be on the pedestal.
Don't look now, but I'm pretty sure Vinter is out of checks, so this is going to be a last location Samaria for him.
Yep.
Farfaloo not leaving anything to chance. We're going to check everything on our way here. And that's just, we're up to 15 hearts in red mail now. Ugh.
Yeah, he knows.
Not even looking. He knows this had to be something. And it's not the answer that you wanted to see, but it's the answer we probably deserve with how this seed has gone.
Yep. If Bombos had been there... Oh, he's doing with Lumberjack. Oh, wait, no.
He's going to fake powder because he doesn't want to think about it being the powder is the answer. Nice potion, or not potion, but the camera unlock on the left side of... We saw Krellbell do that over on ZSR during the other side of the semifinals match. It's kind of neat to watch, actually, especially if you get a nice pokey powder where they quite literally put themselves off screen when you've unlocked the camera. Just remember to put the camera back into place. The game will do some very, very weird things if you go through that right door with the camera unlocked.
I wasn't even thinking about Mimic Cave.
I mean, you kind of have to, right? These are all checks in a straight line. There's nothing else after this but desert, so you have to check these now.
Yep.
Unfortunately, Mimic Cave, like everything else before it, a whole load of nothing.
Yeah, this game likes to give explosives. Have you noticed that?
There's nothing more concerning than having explosives handed to you by some kid laying in bed or a guy that's waiting under a bridge.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So, with Vinter making his way over to Turtle Rock, it is his last location, as we know, as a region. And we are very, very close to it very possibly just being on the pedestal.
Yeah, we only have, like, what, 4 more checks?
And we have a guaranteed key, and I think a dungeon item, possibly 2, waiting on Laser Bridge. And then Trinex will be our last non-check item in this dungeon.
Bombos could still be on Trinex, people.
Shovel could still be on Trinex.
Yeah.
Shovel leading to nothing could still be on Trinex. Book could still be on Laser Bridge. You never know. And with Mirror Shield, Laser Bridge is trivial here.
Oh, yeah.
That's the key. We knew that had to be there.
There's the compass. We've found the map already, I believe. Nope.
Nope. And that means there's one item here, one item Trinex, and then after that, that's all she wrote. It's just here! It's just here! And at 1:24:05, Farfalu is our first runner in Go mode. And that means Vinter is going to be just a couple minutes behind, but he will be getting that Bombos and joining us very shortly here into Mire.
Yep. Now you just gotta hope for God mode Mire.
Yeah, Farfalu is an entire dive through TR ahead right now. And I would almost, if I'm being objective here, I thought both runners ran a fairly well-routed seed. I'm trying to figure out, well, what is the decision that really kind of puts Vinter aside, and I think it might actually have been that desert play.
Yep. Him also not finding Cane of Samaria, too, probably it was a huge thing.
Yeah, it's still too early to call it, though, because anything can happen here. Even though we're on red mail with 15 hearts, if you get bopped in the wrong way coming through here in Mire, if the key hunt is just not going your way in GT, if you fall at Ganon once, it could really tighten things up in a big hurry.
Yep. Especially if it's a late game fall on Ganon. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, Vinter did get Randa with that Pyramid Ledge play. He did have to go through Ice Palace without the Cane of Samaria, which does take a little bit of time away from an otherwise well-executed run. Is Farfalu going to find the big key here? No, we're going to find a small one.
Big key could always be in the room to the right, though.
And let's see here. What do we got sitting in the spike chest? Today we got the book, the only item we're going to see that isn't on Vitreous in this dungeon.
We could still see silvers on Vitreous, too.
At this point, I'd be willing to guess that silvers are probably in GT.
Probably. That or Trinex.
Just enough magic to light all 4 torches in this room. If the key is going to be in this chest, we know the big key's vanilla. It's not. It could still be in the cutscene chest, but at that point you go check the other 2 anyway.
Yep.
Because this is a faster way to get over to Vitreous if it isn't. Oh, well, that's another key. It could just be 2 keys over here. It could also just be a key and the big key over here next to the big chest. Which is the most likely scenario, honestly. Actually, no, it's not. This would have to be a key, right? Because Vitreous can't have an item. The only way that's not a key is if that's the big key and there's a small key in the big chest. So now we have to go back around. Vinter is making his way, checks the big chest first. That's kind of a meta decision. If you're one item from Go, you go and look at the big chest of Turtle Rock if you're up there before you go to Mimic, because if that's your Go mode, then, well, why would you mirror to Mimic? You'd just leave.
Sadly, we know it's just 3 bombs there.
Alrighty. This last torch puzzle here in Mire. Get to wait out the 17-second cutscene for the walls to kind of shift and move like you were in Hogwarts Castle.
Love the reference there.
Just don't take that one staircase. You know, that one. And don't fall into the pit. Well, okay, yes, do fall into this pit. This pit, which gives you your vanilla big key, and because of the way the game laid it out, you take this portal, you go through a door that's locked by the big key, gives you another portal, and you're right on the path to Vidi.
And of course, you have the magic refill to your left here, which Farfaloo is skipping.
Yeah, there's no reason to pick it up at this point. We don't have any invincibility items, so there's nothing we'd want to use on Vitreous. You got plenty of magic for the one key block we need to throw down right there. And I believe we're set up for Spooky and have enough for the Fire Rod shots to get through anyway. Farfaloo opting to just cane block this. We're probably not going to see Spooky from Farfaloo. Or maybe we are? Nope, this is going to be the intended path. And Vinter is going to go ahead and check this one first and be handsomely rewarded with our go mode. For Vinter, that's 129.21, about 4 minutes behind. Exactly as expected, with Turtle Rock being quite the vast location.
Yeah, I have lost count how many times I've seen last spot on Turtle Rock's Laser Bridge be the item you need to get for go mode.
Getting a little bit risky there. Some risky business from Farfaloo. Decided to try to dash through the eyeballs as you would normally do with a cape. Can't really do that if you're getting interrupted in dash by getting damaged either by hitting an eyeball or being stopped on the slime. Just a piece of heart here. Well, that is our 7th crystal. What does that mean, Nera?
That means it's time for everyone's favorite game. Now we choose between checks 1 and 22 for the big key in Ganon's Tower. Mine is 22.
Really? Come on.
I've called a race before where it was on 22. So
I think everyone has. And nobody likes to see it except for chat.
And me. Except when I have to do it.
Oh. No, don't wish pain on our runners. Come on. They've been through enough. I tend to like to be in the middle of the road, sometimes on the lower end. I'm going to say 9.
That's not middle of the road.
It's middle of the road enough. It requires you to go to at least a few rooms in the dungeon. It's not like you walked into Hope Room, boom, you have a big key. You're getting a small key and going up. But it's not like you had to dig through everything to find it, either. It's a happy medium. As long as you pick the right path to 9. Vinter's going to pick up that book. And sitting on half a heart, you're going to have to be a little careful, because there are plenty of traps in Misery Mire that can... Oh my goodness, speaking of traps, here's a Dead Rock, giving Farfaloo the business as well. There are a lot of ways that you can take a death that you really don't mean to take in here.
Yeah, you got a fairy.
Oh, okay, so we don't care about our HP now. If you've got a fairy, maybe 2. Oh, Vinter's making the right call to at least get the knowledge that there's an extra key or 2 over here. In fact, it is the 2 keys over here. And with that, you can suss by the key logic that the big key is vanilla.
No, I'm pretty sure the third or fourth bottle they found had a fairy in it.
And we're going to see Farfaloo ascend this giant staircase into his massive tower. And that means we're about to find a big key. Now the question is, where is it? You see that right side. 2 keys right side. Ooh. That opens up a lot of choices.
Yep. Going right side swamp is an interesting choice.
Right side swamp?
Or, you know what I meant. Right side Ganon's tower.
You hear about left side swamp all the time. What about right side swamp? You know, the rest of the dungeon.
Technically,
I'm not sure he has a fairy, because Vinter just went out of his way to fake powder one.
he might have forgotten he has one too. Possibly, I don't know.
There's a shovel, and some bombs, and some more bombs, and the map's in the compass chest, excuse me? Alrighty, that is the right side. We're going to see everything else from the left on down. I will giggle if it's on the torch.
I would too.
Well, silvers are on the torch. Okay, that is effectively... Say it with me, chat. That's a bow-locked bow. Why is that there?
Hey, Ganon just became obsolete, essentially.
Ganon is a speck of dust, and as soon as we walk in, the wind will blow and he's gone. There's half magic. Oh my gosh, could you get any freer?
Jeez, where were these the last couple of things I've run? I keep getting silverless from Ganon.
It's interesting, because now you've got a gold sword, you got silver arrows, you got red mail, you got half magic, you got 4 bottles. The only thing we don't have is an invincibility item. You'd prefer the cape, if you even need it. Gold sword makes Ganon's first couple phases just a little trivial.
There's an invincibility item.
As though bidden, there shows up Cane of Burna, the lag stick in this case. Now, Vinter has just a Vitreous behind. If he decides to go hard left, he might make up a little bit of time here. No one goes hard left. You have to go hope left in this situation, especially if you have 2 keys. But, 2 keys with hope room, you're probably going right. I don't know, everyone has their own way of tackling Ganon's tower and trying to figure out what the key logic is telling you. Randomizer room. Another 4 checks. Possibly right there. Possibly where our big key is. Arthur says, I've seen enough. I don't need another darn thing. We're going.
I think that was 12.
That's a nice fairy drop. Thanks, game. All right, so we are very healthy going up the tower here. Tracker confirming that is 12. The closest guess we had in chat to 12 is our restreamer Breadcoon with 7, and I said 9. So no cigar today, I guess. You can get that key dash very easily if you just hold the A button. Yeah, Power to Mario said 17, so it's actually a perfect average between Bread's guess and Mario's guess. Yeah, if you hold the A button just coming out of that room, you literally get the key dash every time. And Farfalu noticed that he had moved out of the doors, just went ahead and wiggled your way away from bonking into the door on your way through, which is pretty heads-up maneuver. All right, we're going to see how Vinter decides to go into Ganon's tower here in just a moment. Got to make your way up the mountain first. It really just kind of gets me is that double key and hope room. Like I said, that opens up too many options for me. Because you get 1 key, you'd be thinking about going right side. If you get 2 keys, the next thing I would think of is make sure you don't have all the keys up front. And a possible tell of it being tile room, but that's everyone handles it a different way.
Yeah.
Already having been up here once, deciding Super Bunny Cave probably the faster way to get to where we're trying to go. They're both relatively about the same length of time. The best part about doing it through Dark World is that you don't have any risk of being caught by dead rocks. And you blinked and you miss it. Farfalu already at the torches puzzles at the top of Ganon's tower here.
Almost got hit by that fire bar.
And Vinter will open up that front door and climb up the tallest staircase in the world. No need to check another chest for the rest of the run. Farfalu is going, and there's nothing stopping him. I was actually a little bit worried that you were gonna leave your magic in the lower quarter range and be like, "Oh, this is enough to take out Ganon," right? It actually could be.
Yeah, definitely.
Moldorm easy pickings here for the gold sword. One last chest that we're gonna hook onto and say no. And it is time for a math lesson from everyone's favorite geometric wizard, Aghanim.
What's the math lesson?
Agonometry 201. How many ways can you make a triangle?
15.
No, that's how many blue balls you'd hate to see in a run.
Oh.
That is the skewedest looking triangle I've ever seen. Yeah, oh my goodness. I never like it when he throws a blue ball. I get psyched out every single time he throws a blue ball in this, especially if you have the perfect triple setup and he says, "Nope, just kidding." Now that'd be a 2-2-2, I think, from Farfalu, unless I missed something. Which is very easy to do. Maybe it was 1-1-2-2.
I think it was 1-2-3.
2-2-0-2. No, 1-2-3. That's that's counting. Yeah, I blanked on the 0, which is, kind of how a 0 is supposed to work. Vinter has gone in this direction, as we see, with 3 keys. I believe that would be going up from... Yeah, this is going to be the rest of the way left down. Farfalu going to make very easy work of Ganon with this gold sword. Already phase 2 is... Nope. It's done. Farfalu is giving us a little bit of past-future knowledge in chat here. It was a 2-0-2-2. It's okay, I can count. I promise. 1 + 1 is... fish. Right?
Now it's 5.
Just a couple more knocks here, and Ganon will be susceptible to his last breaths being taken away by some silver arrows. Oh, that boomerang shot wasn't playing nice for Vinter. Gonna see the left side on down. Oh, that always looks good. I still prefer the red boomerang here, but that always looks good. Alright, 1. 2. Let's see where Ganon goes and see if we can set up a double here. Nope, down to the corner. 1 more torchlight will do it. And come on. Play nice, Ganon. Oh my. Oh. Past Farfalu, please be careful. Vinter is going to get his big key, but Ganon is down on Farfalu's side. Let's see some GGs in chat, because unless we've coated this 1x3 bridge with a little bit of grease, that's going to be a win in the column for Farfalu in this semi-final tilt. Alrighty. Yeah, big shout-outs to Farfalu finishing this Ambrosia Seed with an official time on racetime.gg of 1:42.02. Taking the first game in our best-of-3 series.
Hey, Farfalu.
Is that the sound of a Farfalu joining us?
Oh, yeah, GG.
GG. What'd you feel about that Ambrosia Seed?
Well, it was terrible locations, but not so bad after all. I think the Worst for me was Bumble's location, but I knew Winter would have to have the same trouble as I did, so I was not feeling so terrible. I think the worst mistake was getting lost in Pod in the dark room.
Yeah, it seemed like going through Pod and that getting caught up in that dark room without a mirror or a way to actually get out of it. Having to save and quit there is really not something that anyone wants to do. I think it might have, I think it hung around, just bounced around in your head a little bit because you go back in and check and get the map, and then you go back in thinking there's another item in the big key location, but it's blocked by a key for a key logic.
Yeah, a lot was going in my head at that moment. So yeah, I didn't even notice it had to be a small key up there. Uh, Even if I had tracked the number of items in the dungeon, I was sure I only found 5. So yeah, that dungeon was the worst. But other than that, I think it was kind of nice. Same at the beginning, I thought it was not worth having only boots out of Eastern and Green Pendant, but since it was a very long seed, I think it was okay, and maybe I made up the time I lost going for nothing in Eastern.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that and a couple other particular item spots, but let's touch on the boots first. Vanilla boots on the Green Pendant in an Ambrosia Seed. You did get to those a good clip of time faster than Vinter did. He, of course, had the mirror, so it was a little bit easier to get back and forth between Pod and Eastern at that time. What were your thoughts on what the logic was telling you as you were going through?
Well, I knew those boots were out of logic, so there had to be something at Agina because it was last location. That's why I did not go straight to Pegasus Rocks. I figured I could do Pegasus Rock on the way with some other checks like Death Mountain or going back to Village. So yeah, at least when you last locate something, at least something has to be there. The other thing was sorry, I don't. I think I lost what I had to say there. Oh yes, it was. I forgot because in Ambrosia, when you cannot even finish Skullwood, it doesn't feel good. So I didn't even consider I could have one thing there. So I also last located Mirror, but I talked a bit about that with Winter in the race room, and that's the big reason why I got Samaria a lot earlier. I was sure, since I finished Pod out of Logic as well, and I found Hookshot, I was sure Lamp or Flute had to be on Pyramid or Catfish. But then I find Lamp in that mountain, so I was sure Flute had to be there. But it was only Samaria, which did not unlock anything at that time. So I think it helped me, kind of helped me to forget about Skullwood.
Yeah, Ambrosia Skullwoods we talked about during the run, if you happen to watch it back. And it's one of those plays where in a normal open or standard siege, you might go, yeah, that's fine. We can go ahead and see if we can pluck 2 items out of here. In Ambrosia, there's an item in Moth. So you're peeking around at no more than, 7 chests for 1 item? With a big key, a map, a compass, and 3 small keys in the pool as well? It's kind of gross.
Yeah, that's why I try to avoid that.
Yeah, Vinter did have that mirror relatively on the early side, but he had actually broken Dark World access by fake flippering without the Moon Pearl because of where the Moon Pearl happened to be. So while you were going off getting your flippers and finding your logical Dark World access, he's already showing us parts of the Dark World.
Okay, so he went to Agina way after than I did.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he logically last located his flippers after everything that he could possibly do ahead of going into Swamp. You two actually converged on Swamp at relatively the same time.
Okay, well that's nice.
There are a few points in the seed of that kind of convergence actually that came out to be rather intriguing based on how each of you routed and how much logic got disregarded. But the other question I wanted to ask was not about the mirror or the boots or the flippers, but Yeah, the endgame scenario happening to come down to what we saw in chat as Vinter is about to cross that bridge as he's taken down Ganon, so he'll be joining us in just a moment here. See some GGs in chat for Vinter as well.
Yeah, that was a good kill of Ganon on Vinter's part and on your part, Farfaloo.
Well, that Ganon hug made me scare a little. I tried to do what Vinter just did now, but actually I did. My slash did not make Ganon blue, but did some damage. So I lost the timing, and yeah, I touched the fire, and then Ganon, thanks to Red Mail, I could finish without dying.
I saw you get kind of flung, and I was, oh no. That was the scariest moment. I'm like, Farfaloo, please be careful. You're at 2 hearts in red mail. Please don't hug him again.
Yeah.
By the way, we are joined by Vinter in chat. Let's hear some happy GGs for him as well.
Hey, Vinter, good game.
Hello. Thank you. GG.
Vinter was the one that showed us that everything had to be in TR because Vinter decided that Desert is a play that we want to get out of the way sooner than later. It was actually coming down to, is it on Trinex or is it on Pedestal for those of us as runners in the background, as spectators in the background here. So thanks for showing us the entire seed, guys.
Yeah. Unintentionally so, I guess, but yeah.
Yes, it kind of ended up just kind of working out that way. When you get down to Medallion Hunt, and the game's already given you Ice Rod, your medallion can be anywhere, except the dungeon it's blocking. It's not really a fun time. It's Ice Rod Hunt light, really.
Yep. Like I was banking on 2 checks towards the end there, which was the fake powder, where I had hoped maybe it's on the powder and Farfaloo just turned in the mushroom and didn't reset it. Well, it's either that or pedestal, and I knew if none of these 2 options has the bombos, it's over for me. But yeah.
That's one thing that you had on Farfaloo going up the mountain is you had the mirror from the front of Skullwoods. And we were talking about that before you came in. Skullwoods having that 2-item density in a normal open seed where it could be something that you need in the front. But in Ambrosia, with an item being blocked and gated on Moth behind the Fire Rod, you have 1 item in, 6 checks that you could possibly glean? And today it happened to pay out pretty decently for you.
Yeah, Skullwood's front always seems to have some sort of progression. I don't know. So I didn't want to leave it behind. But yeah, I was thinking about when I went with the mirror and cleaned up the north route of the Dark World, I was thinking about going back for the pyramid at that point. But yeah, I just cleaned up everything around the pyramid, and just so happened that Mire was the second red crystal, so I didn't have any reason to really go back there, I guess. That was kind of unfortunate.
Yeah, it was kind of just almost a bad feeling to get the Moon Pearl after you've done the fake flipper play. You have Dark World access. You know your flippers are your logic.
Yeah.
What'd you think about flippers being in Agina's cave?
Well, as you said, like I could kind of I kind of knew that. So I was just waiting to get them since I didn't really need them at that point necessarily. But yeah, I kind of knew, okay, this had to be the logical course of progression there. The only thing that would have scared me is if there was boots on Agina, since I did not have those yet either. And then, I don't know, maybe flippers and bonk rocks or something. That would have been scary. Other than that, I think it was okay to leave them behind and get them later.
Yeah, Ambrosia has that way of just kind of throwing things in spots that you really don't want to have to go get. I'm not sure if it's because the bosses have to have something, so the bosses have to be accessible, or if it's just, feels like a confirmation bias with the way this mode kind of rolls its item locations. but this one happened. It threw some stuff in some spots and said, "Go get him."
I also feel like it's because of the boots hint, especially if it's the one that we got. I just happened to check every light world check that now unlocked, and I mean there's so many, like all the fetch quests, you know, the mirror checks, like some real annoying stuff where you have to backtrack. If you bank on that and want to try to find the boots, that also makes these seats kind of weird, I feel. Or this mode. Maybe just ignore it. It's the better play, honestly.
All right. Well, I don't really have much else to ask. This was for as much as the routing just kind of went back and forth for the entire seed, the fact that you two came back together in more than one spot at relatively the same time to what would end up being a logical last location for some stuff, like the Flute and Swamp Palace, for instance, you were both in pod at the same time. Things of that nature just kind of make it interesting for how differently the decision making just goes through. Uh, the one thing that I think really just kind of hurts probably the Canis Samaria. We already knew that. It got kind of put into isolation. It's just what happens. It's rando. But you two have another game, same time, same place tomorrow. And is there a mode you two are looking forward to playing for this game too?
Well, I'm actually fine with any mode. Maybe not the inverted one. I know that Farfelu likes it though, so it's okay. I look forward to anything.
Yeah, pretty much the same. Maybe I like the inverted keys a bit more because I don't know. I like low strats, low percent strats, or. But anyways, I have not practiced pretty much any of those modes because I'm not really from the Link to the Past community. So yeah, maybe it's one of those reasons I joined the Challenge Cup just to try and learn a few more things. So I'm looking at the bot at the same time and what are the most likely we get tomorrow, and it seems tournament keys and MC Boss are the most likely. I think MC Boss would be my favorite between those two because I only have played once MC Boss in the entire tournament. I don't know why the bot does not want to give me this mode. But yeah, pretty much anything I think Winter and me can handle.
I mean, at this stage of the game, yeah, I believe it. I mean, we're talking about semifinals here. One of you two's got to go to the end of the tournament. The other one's going to sit on the sideline with me and watch how it shakes out. But unless you two have anything further, I think that should do it. Any other remarks, runners?
Well, thank you for the restream. The stream changed the layout. Sorry, I would like to say your names, give you thanks properly, but I don't know who did what. So I would just say a big thank you for the restream and making it possible. And yeah, that's it. See you tomorrow.
Yeah, same thing for me. Thank you for restreaming this and give Farfelu a follow. He's going to play later on in the Super Metroid tourney as well. And yeah, thank you for restreaming. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, the pleasure for this goes to Go Mode Podcast. Once again, thank you for the use of this medium. And today, this race has been brought to you by our restreamer, Breadcoon. My co-commentator, Nira, has moved on for the day and tracking RTO Ridley Dragon. And I was Zeruvian. It's been a pleasure being here with you guys. Same time, same channel tomorrow for Game 2 of this semifinal tilt. Farfelu and Winter. Winner goes on to play against Dr. Diabetes. In what should be an exciting series to wrap up this year's Challenge Cup, but we still got one or two more games before we get to that. So if you haven't followed these two runners, make sure you do that now. If you're a fan of Super Metroid, that's where you should find Farfelu having a little bit of fun in that multi-category tournament going on Speed Gaming. And, Vinter is the person that took me out of groups for this year's Challenge Cup. So a lot to say there about how good we are at Link to the Past. So have a follow there as well if that's your cup of tea. That should do it for us here at Go Mode Podcast this afternoon. Oh, that was Duden? Oh no! No, because Farfaloo... No, not Farfaloo. Rotsiv took me out by tiebreakers. I still had a way in. And then he won. Shoot. I blame all of you. No.
You're half right though. He's my teammate in the league. So yeah.
Right. It looks like
I
we're gonna
take the
go.
blame. It's okay.
Looks like we're gonna go visit Dante. Dante is currently. What is he up to? Mr. Dante is currently doing a casual boots. So let's go have some fun and raid one of our own. Thanks everyone for watching. See you again tomorrow, and see you next time.